hard to imagine a world before Kim Kardashian was considered an American pop culture phenomenon, but such a world once existed. I do have to wonder though, is a star born or created? Some of the people closest to her would argue that she was absolutely born for stardom.
The tape of this because I hope you can see me when I'm famous and older and remember me.
Let's take it back to the very beginning and see for ourselves just how destined this life was to be. This is the life of Kimberly Kardashian. Kimberly Noel Kardashian was born October 21st, 1980. She was born to her father, Robert Kardashian, who was a very successful lawyer, and her mother, Kris Jenner, who was most known to be a socialite, a flight attendant, and even worked with her grandma and mom in a clothing shop that they opened. Kris was even quoted saying that working for her mom and grandma helped her learn how to run a business. And that one job might have been the main component to the beginning of the entire dynasty that we know of today. It's safe to say that Kim definitely grew up in money and status, but it wasn't always that way for the Kardashian family. Her great-great-grandparents fled Armenia with no money right before the Armenian genocide. And after arriving in Los Angeles, her grandpa created a meatpacking business from the ground up, which would later go on to amass an annual income of $100 million. Robert definitely took a few of those entrepreneur skills himself, and after a few years of being a lawyer, he went on to open a few of his own businesses. Most notable was called Radio and Records, which was a trade publication that provided news and airplay information to the radio and music industries. And after a few years of owning this business, Robert would then go on to sell it for $12.5 million. After turning down his initial proposal, Kris and Robert eventually decided to get married in 1978 when Kris was 22 and Robert was 33. The same year that Kourtney was born, Robert took the money from selling his company and bought his very first mansion for the family. It was extremely exclusive and luxurious in the Beverly Hills 90210 neighborhood, and every Kardashian would grow up in this house. After a few years living in Beverly Hills, the Kardashian family began to go to nice dinners and socialize with other families, and that made them very well known. Later, Kourtney and Kim would go on to be enrolled in a preschool that was extremely prestigious called the Buckley School, where a ton of celebrities attended. This is where Kim met most of her connections. But the biggest connection she would meet at this school was Paris Hilton. And for a while, they all seemed like the perfect American family. But nothing can be good for too long. Follow for part 2.